Hi, and welcome to American Dream Vacation. I'm Virgil, and I'm going to be doing the orientation on Unit 1806. The first thing we're going to start off with are the keys. If you notice this little round black handle key, this goes into the door, and it locks and unlocks the entry door. Also, this other key here, of course, does the passenger door and the driver's door, and of course the ignition. And then you have a couple of other shiny keys here, the silver key here. The one of them has like a C26261. This key will unlock some compartments on the other side. Once we get over there, I'll show you that. And then finally, you have this key that's labeled 751. This key unlocks the majority of the compartments outside the motorhome. It also unlocks the majority of compartments on most RVs and travel trailers. Okay? All right. So we're going to start over here. This is your propane tank. Your propane runs the hot water heater, the furnace, the stove, and the refrigerator. And as you can see, it's got a little indicator level here that shows you how much propane you have, and this one's sitting at half a tank right now. This yellow valve or cap is where you would fill the propane. We send you out with at least a half a tank. If you need more propane while you're out, it's at your expense to buy more propane. Okay? Then this valve here is what turns off the tank. It stops the propane from flowing out of the tank to the different appliances inside the RV. To close it, you turn it clockwise. To open it up, you turn it counterclockwise. So, but you leave it open unless there's a reason to close it. Okay? Over here you have electrical outlets. These will only be live if you have the generator running or if you're plugged into electricity at a campground or at your house. Then those will function. This is the back side of the furnace, and it does say hot on there, so if this is on and there's heat coming from that, it will burn your hands. Back side of the refrigerator, there's no reason for you to go in there. That's just where we go in and do maintenance on the refrigerator. And over here you have a storage compartment, and once again, we talked about that 751 key, and that unlocks that. Okay, let's come around here. This does have a hitch receiver on the back. So if you had like a bike rack or something like that, you would be able to use that. And we also rent bike racks. So if you need to rent a bike rack to take your bikes along with you. Now, this RV is 30 amps. Campground's going to either be 50 or 30 amp. If you don't remember, it's always posted on the side of the motorhome. So it's a 30 amp. And it's also a 3-prong plug. 30 is 3, and that's what a 30 amp looks like. A 50 amp would be 4. So that's your 30 amp. Now, if you look over here inside this compartment, you're going to see this really big outlet over here, and that's your 30 amp plug. This cord must remain plugged into something at all times. So either in this box on the RV, or it needs to be plugged into the outlet at your campsite. But never just leave it sitting loose in here. When the generator is running, it sends all the electricity to that outlet, and that's why it's important for you to plug this back in to that outlet just like that. So you'll be able to get the electricity inside the RV, okay? So in the meantime, I'm going to unplug it, and I'm going to plug it back into this 30 amp outlet out here we have set up. Okay, this little hole here is designed for you to bring the cord through there. So when you're at your campground, you can have this door closed and locked. So you can just pull it out through there, and that opening, and it will fit right back through there, okay? That's what that's for. So, we're going to talk about dumping your waste. A lot of people have anxiety about this, but it's real simple if you pay attention to what I'm about to show you. If you look at this, you're going to see this big cover right here. What you do is you untwist this cover and let it dangle, and then you take this end of your sewer hose, you put it on, you twist and lock it in place, and then of course the other end is going to go into the ground at your dump station. Some dump stations have a twist and lock, like as you see here, or thread it, and you would just twist it in and thread it. So what you would do is, to make this work, you take it off, you put it in, and you twist it down until it's in there firm, and then you lock it back on to your sewer hose. Okay, once you're confident that this is in there secure, then what you want to do is you want to pull your black valve. If you notice, you have a small valve over here, and then on this RV, your black valve is on the other side. So let's walk over there to the other side. Your black valve would be your sewage, the waste from the toilet. The gray valve, or gray tank, is the sink and the shower water. So let's get down here real close, and over here is, you see this big valve under here, and it's got a black handle. That is how you dump your waste. So you don't twist it, turn it, you just pull it straight out, and your toilet waste is going to drain out through your hose. Once this is done draining, you walk back over to the other side, you shake the hose a little bit, make sure it's empty, and then you close this valve, and then you open up the other side, which is a gray tank side. Let's go back over here. So back down here, you're going to see this other handle, and it's a much smaller valve than the other one. So then you pull this one out. And the reason you do it in that order is you want this sink and shower water to rinse all of the toilet waste out of your sewer hose before you disconnect it. That's why you're going to do it in that order. If you're at a campground and they have hookups for the sewage and you have your hose attached, do not leave these valves open. Leave these closed and let the pressure build up, and say, for example, every day you just go out there and drain them and then close them back up, but don't leave them open, okay? And once it's done, you shake your hose again and you make sure that it's empty, and then you close this valve here and you disconnect it, and you disconnect this in, and you recap your drain valve, and you're all set to go. Okay? Over here is where your fuel fill is. It uses regular unleaded fuel. And these little attachments right here, these are designed to hold different compartment doors open. So if you open that up, and it would basically work like so. You know, keep that thing from swinging closed on you. Over here is your city water connection. So the way this hooks up when you're at a campground or at your house, you always have this brass regulator on the water hose. This end goes onto the faucet, and the other end will screw right into here. So now you have forced water just like you're at home. You don't have to use a water pump or anything like that. You have forced water, and that's what that'll do for you, okay? So just once you get it connected, turn the water on, and you're set to go. And the reason you got this regulator on here, this regulates the amount of water pressure. If you don't have one of these on your hose for whatever reason, do not connect this to the faucet, because it could be 80 pounds of pressure and it could blow all the plumbing out of the RV because you didn't have this regulator on there to regulate it down to 40 pounds of pressure, okay? Now, you have water that you carry on board. So if you're not at a campground, you don't have a hookup, you have water on board. So what you want to do is, behind this wall here, you have a freshwater tank, and you fill it up with the same hose. So instead of this being hooked up on here, it's still hooked up to your faucet, and you stick this right inside of there, and you start filling up your freshwater tank. And the way you know if it's full, there's two ways to know. Number one, water is going to start shooting out of that little hose right into your face, so stand back. Or you can go inside, and there's a monitor panel, which I'll show you once we go inside, that will show you that your freshwater tank is full, okay? This tank has nothing to do with the city water connection. Two different systems, okay? Once it's full, put your cap back on, and you're set to go. This is the back side of the hot water heater. There's a switch inside that turns that on. 6 gallons, about 20 minutes when you first turn on before you have hot water. And the way it works is, the minute you start using water, more water is automatically drawn in, so you're not separately filling this tank up. It's automatically drawn in, and it keeps filling it up. But you always got that 20-minute delay. And then you have another storage compartment here. It's pretty simple there. And then over here, remember we talked about these catches? You put that up, and inside of here is your Generac generator. The generator runs off the same fuel tank as your engine, so they're both sucking fuel from the tank. When your fuel gauge up at your dash gets down to 1/4 of a tank, this generator is going to shut off. So if it's important to have your generator, don't ever let your fuel gauge drop below 1/4 of a tank, okay? So to open this up, you lift up on it like so, you grab the bottom, and you take it right out of the way. And inside here you got a couple of things here. You got your, where you check the fuel, you check your oil rather, and then this is where you would start it up over here, and then you got your breaker switch right over there. You see a little toggle switch on and off, pretty self-explanatory. If something trips that, it's going to be in the off position, and you will not be getting electricity sent to that outlet that we talked about earlier. And you start this from inside or outside, okay? To put this back in, you lift it up, you pop it in place, and you pull on it a little bit, and you make sure she's back in there firm, okay? The generator provides you with the electricity throughout the RV when you're traveling down the road, or if you don't have a hookup, then you have electricity just supplied by the generator. Okay, these mirrors will swing in like so, If you need to bring this mirror in for some reason, that means you are too close to something that you're about to hit. So you really shouldn't have to bring these in for anything. And these are also adjusted manually, okay? I'm gonna show you something inside here. If you look very closely, right on the bottom of this seat here, and I'm gonna point to it, that button right there is your emergency start button. What that means is this: if you left your headlights on and you try to start the engine and it won't crank, what you would do is you would turn the key to crank it again, you push that button simultaneously, and your house battery is going to give your truck battery a jump. That's what that does for you. It just strictly gives you a jump, okay? All right, we're gonna move right along here. We've already checked all the fluids, things like that, so those things are good to go. If you're going to be going on a really long trip, of course, you need to check your oils and so forth while you're out. Okay. Over here, you have this little catch here that holds the door open, and we talked about the keys. So let's go inside and take a look inside.